All right. Just want to make sure we're there here before we start talking. All right. Okay, I don't see it on Facebook, so I'm going to go ahead and connect a different key.
Okay.
So let me add that here. I just have to click a couple buttons, make sure. All right. Okay, perfect. Let me give it a refresh here. Alrighty, looks like we are live. Fantastic. Hello, everyone, and happy Monday. Welcome to our live video. Yesterday was World Hearing Day, so in light of that, we are live today here with Jenny, who is a lead audiologist at Boys Town National Research Hospital. Jenny, how are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you, Gabby.
Good. It's great to have you on. So, we are talking today on the topic of what to do when you notice your hearing begins to decline. So, whether it's you, a family member, maybe your child, and maybe it's okay, yeah, I noticed my hearing declining several years ago, but I've never really taken the jump to explore maybe getting hearing aids or even just getting my hearing checked. Or maybe you have a young child and you're kind of noticing a little bit, I'm not quite sure if they're maybe hearing me all the time. Maybe I should request an appointment and get in. This talk is for you. So, what to do when you notice your hearing begins to decline. We are going to go through several discussion questions. And if you're watching live and you have a question, go ahead and leave it in the comment section of this video. If you're watching this down the road, maybe tonight or the next couple of days, or you find this video 6 months from now and you have a follow-up, go ahead and leave a comment and we will be notified and be able to get you the help you need. Okay, so the first question here is there a typical age where people start to notice their hearing decline, or is there a range?
That's a great question that we do get quite a bit.
Yeah.
And yes, most people, as we get older, we will acquire some type of hearing loss with age. It's very common. The typical age range that happens tends to be when people are in their 50th or 60th decade of life. And then as we get older, the statistics of hearing loss tend to just increase from there. Thankfully, age-related hearing loss comes on very slowly and progresses very slowly. So it usually takes several years, maybe even 5 to 10 years, before somebody notices that it's impacting their everyday life.
Sure. So the next one is, what if I've noticed that I can hear some of my family members or friends just fine, but then there are other people that I seem to struggle to understand more? Why is this?
This is a common thing that we hear from people that come in. Just curious, do I have hearing loss? I have friends that I can hear fine. Maybe my friends I go to coffee with, I'm doing really well with, but my spouse I can't hear, and my grandchildren. And it could be that there is hearing loss for certain pitches of speech. So we test a wide variety of frequencies when you come in for a hearing test. And it might be that maybe low and mid pitches are in the normal range, but there's a high frequency hearing loss. And then that is specifically impacting your ability to hear certain speech sounds or certain people.
Yeah, that makes sense. At what point should I pursue getting my hearing loss evaluated and treated?
So anytime that you have doubts, I'm feeling I'm not hearing well, I'm asking other people to repeat, I'm missing words in conversations. Maybe some family members have told me I have the TV louder than they like the TV. those are good times to come in. And it might be that your hearing loss is very mild and there's nothing that needs to be done, but we do want to have a good baseline audiogram even when you're kind of just first starting to notice some of those problems.
Yeah. Is it okay to use someone else's hearing device if they are no longer using it?
That is another common question that we get. Yeah, there are a lot of people that come in with a friend or family member's hearing aid that they're not using anymore. And a lot of times we can use that hearing aid for someone else as long as it's not made custom to the ear. There's a lot of different styles of hearing aids, and some of them just sit behind the ear with kind of a little non-custom piece in the ear. And that is a type that we can sanitize and usually make fit to someone else's ear. So as long as it wasn't kind of molded to someone else's ear, it can likely be used for you. The other part is we need to be able to program the device because everybody's hearing loss levels and ear canal sizes are different. So we want to make sure that it's a major manufactured brand that we could connect our computer programming system to. Sometimes if a hearing aid is purchased at a different retail store, we might not be able to connect to it. I would recommend making an appointment, come in for a hearing test, and then bring that hearing aid with you so we can take a look at it and see if that's something we could do.
Yeah. So I've come to the point where I've decided I may need to treat my hearing loss. What is the process of getting hearing aids at Boys Town?
So first start with a hearing test. If you want to come in and just do that, just to kind of get the ball rolling, that's a really great first appointment. In that appointment, if we decide, yes, there is enough need here that we want to consider hearing aids, then we would recommend an appointment called a hearing aid evaluation. It's scheduled for 2 hours. It's a little bit lengthier, but we go over things a little bit more in depth, explain your hearing loss more in depth, and then we can talk about different hearing aid options, different styles and brands. We go over your specific needs and things that you really want to improve with your communication. And so that is a really in-depth appointment. And it's a good time to even just be able to try some hearing aids on. We usually have enough time where we can put on a couple of different brands to see if there is a hearing aid that would fit your needs a little bit better than another one.
Should I bring my family members to those appointments?
Absolutely. We always recommend bringing close family or a close friend. Communication is a two-way street, so we want family members to be informed about your hearing loss too. It's really important for them to know things that they can do to help improve communication because sometimes there are specific things we can recommend for communication partners that they maybe haven't tried, and that can help reduce a lot of frustrations kind of upfront, maybe before we're even considering a hearing aid. And then we are also going over a lot of new information. And when you get home after your appointment, you might have questions or kind of forget some things that we talked about, and a family member can help say, hey, this is what they said about this, and help you remember some of those things. So absolutely always bring a family member. We like when they're invested, and they are the people that know you best. So they can kind of help make some of these decisions with you because starting to utilize a hearing aid might be a big step, and we want family members to be involved too.
And when we get to that point of deciding to move forward with one of those hearing aids, we know it can be, kind of an investment. So a common question for sure is, how long will a hearing aid typically last?
Yeah, that's a good question. If you just Google how long does a hearing aid last, the internet will probably tell you about 5 to 7 years. It depends on how well you're maintaining the hearing aid, if you're coming in for regular appointments and keeping it clean and maintaining it as we recommend. A lot of people have hearing aids that they're using longer than that. As long as they're functioning fine, there's no necessary immediate need to get new hearing aids after 7 years has passed. Sometimes at that point, there might be new technology, or maybe you've had a change in hearing. Generally, hearing aids have enough programming room in them if you have a change in hearing to be able to adjust them. But after maybe 7 or 8 years, technology has advanced enough, or you're kind of ready for an update to that hearing aid.
Yeah. We just have a few more questions for Dr. Gehring. So if you are watching live and you have a question, whether it be about hearing loss, getting your hearing tested, hearing aids, anything that we're discussing, go ahead and leave in the comments now so we can get it in time for the live video. What brand of hearing aids is the best?
So we fit all 6 major manufacturers of hearing aids here at our clinic. And sometimes a patient will come in and say, my best friend has this hearing aid and that's the one I want because they do really well with it. And that's great. It's always helpful to have family or friends that also use hearing aids that you can kind of chat with and get some information from them. But it is a really personal experience. There might be a brand that works better for you or your specific hearing needs, or your hearing loss might be very different than your friend. So there are a lot of different options out there, and it's important to kind of work with your audiologist and be upfront about things that you specifically want to improve. And then we will help you find the right brand for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The next one is, I have seen stories in the news linking hearing loss with dementia. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, there is a lot of new information coming out about this now. And a lot of what the research is showing is that untreated hearing loss can be linked to some cognitive decline. And the main reason for that is a lot of people, when they are experiencing hearing loss, and if it's untreated, one of the things that people will often do is isolate themselves. They might stop going to some of their favorite events or group meetings or functions. Maybe they aren't doing family gatherings anymore. And if they are, they're kind of being just feeling like they're not involved or don't really converse in the conversation. And so that is being linked to then cognitive decline, because after several months or years of that kind of pattern, then we fall into that situation where maybe now there's also some cognition concerns because we haven't been socializing and maintaining that human connection. So yeah, that there is a lot of new information on that, and we continue to learn more and more about that every day.
Mm-hmm. All the more reason to come in and take that leap of scheduling an appointment, because
Definitely, yes.
Even from a mental health perspective,
Yeah,
we talk all the time at Boys Town about mental health, and when you're in a room full of friends and maybe you can't follow the conversation quite as well as you used to, that will
yeah.
make you feel down, and we
That's
don't want that.
very common. Yeah, and people feel like they don't wanna be embarrassed if they misheard what was said,
Right.
or they kinda say, "Well, I just kinda laughed along with it, but didn't realize I was actually being asked a question, and
Oh
I
yeah.
felt embarrassed, and so now I'm not going to those events." And we really don't want those things to happen, because mental health and cognition and maintaining those connections in your life is really important. And, even if you're not interested in hearing aids, or you're really apprehensive about that, there might be other things that we can go over, like other assistive technologies, or where to sit in a restaurant,
Yeah,
and how to utilize other communication strategies so you can stay connected to those situations.
definitely. I heard that hearing aids can connect to cell phones now. Can you explain how that works? Is it
Yes.
Bluetooth?
Yes, there have been a lot of advancements in hearing aids and then technology that they connect to, including cell phones.
Mhm.
And if you don't want to connect to your cell phone, you don't have to. We have a group of people that don't want to use their phone with their hearing aids, and that's just fine. But there are also some new advancements. So most of the hearing aid manufacturers do have a free app that you can download onto your phone. It works a lot like a remote control. The nice thing about having it on your phone is you can visually see what you're adjusting. So a lot of times you can adjust the program or the volume, or make different settings, or even things that I can typically do sometimes in the software. And the nice thing about that is when you're out in that difficult situation, you can make a quick fix to the hearing aids. And a lot of times that'll help right then and there. The
Mhm.
other thing that phones and hearing aids do now is you can stream like music or podcasts into the hearing aids. So I have a lot of patients that will go, walking at the gym, and instead of having to take the hearing aids out and
Mhm.
putting in kind of some headphones, then they can keep the hearing aids on and then be streaming into the hearing aids. So it's a lot of advancements have been made, and that just overall makes your experience with hearing aids better.
Yeah, that's gotta help a lot because, like you said earlier, going from not having a hearing device to getting one, it might feel a little bit overwhelming, like learning how to
Absolutely.
use it and doing all that, but these brands have really streamlined that process, it sounds
Yeah.
like.
Yes, it does help. And sometimes if you are not somebody that's really good with technology, we can help step you through that. We don't have to do it right away. A lot of times I recommend coming in, let's just get the hearing aid fit and get you used to that. And
Mhm,
then later we can add your phone and we can help pair that. Again, maybe bringing a family member along to kind of see how a lot of that works would be helpful too.
mhm. Does Boys Town offer any kind of financial assistance or discounts for hearing aids?
That's a great question. A lot of people end up paying for hearing aids out of pocket due to insurance restrictions. Traditional Medicare does not cover the cost of hearing aids. There are some people that do have insurance benefits through just their health insurance for hearing aids, but then there's a large majority of people that don't. So, in the month of March, we do offer 25% off the cost of hearing aids to kind of celebrate World Hearing Day. And it is a nice discount if you are thinking about getting hearing aids and you've been a little unsure, but wanting to kind of get more information. It is a nice time to consider it. If you want to call in for an appointment, make sure that you mention that when you are making the appointment so that we can make sure that you were interested in that discount.
Yes, so we will put both the phone number and the link to request an appointment on this video so you can make sure to have that info. And you can either tell them you watched this live and heard Dr. Gehring talk about it, or just say, I want my 25% off and I'm
Right.
ready to get my hearing improved with your help. So we're happy to help.
Great.
Wonderful. So maybe if this isn't the right time for pursuing that and moving forward with a hearing aid, what should we do instead? If at all?
Yeah. If you're not super excited about getting hearing aids, that is very common. You are not alone. It is a really big step, and a lot of people are hesitant to do that. And that's okay. I always recommend patients be open and honest with their audiologist. Maybe knowing, hey, I do have a hearing problem, but I'm just not ready for that right now.
Mhm.
Like I had said earlier, there are some other things we can go over and some other options that we can discuss that don't include wearing hearing aids. And then just closely monitoring how you're doing. Maybe just say, all right, I got my information and I need to take a step back and return in about a year for another hearing test or another meeting with your audiologist to check in on how things are going. You will likely be more successful if you're honest with yourself. A lot of patients come in pursuing hearing aids because their family members want them to do that, and that's not always lining them up to be successful with hearing aids because they're not really internally motivated to be hearing better. So we want you to be the one that wants to move forward with hearing aids.
Mhm. Yes. And if we are ready to move forward, how can we? Oh, my last question is how to schedule an appointment to take advantage.
Yeah,
We already talked about that, but I'll make sure to link it on this video.
perfect.
Or, if you just search on our website, Boys Town Audiology, we will get you that info.
Great,
Yeah.
great,
And you can request an appointment directly with Dr. Gehring or any of our other wonderful, fabulous audiologists. We will get you seen and get you taken care of.
great.
Awesome. Anything else you want to mention around World Hearing Day?
That's it. I think we covered the bases. Thank
Yeah,
you so much.
wonderful. Well, thank you so much for everyone watching. And don't forget to take advantage of our current hearing aid discount. And we'll catch you next time. Bye bye.